Of this event, this has been absolutely electric here in Las Vegas at the Rio. Been having a very good time. Don't know about you, Parker, but I can tell you one thing though. Maverick is going to be banned by Rise Nation, so we are going to be looking for more than likely the second ban. I'm going to put all my chips on Hibana here.
Wasn't really any operator that seemed to cause a lot of problems for SSG when Rise Nation was on attack, other than a Jackal. I mean, you're not really going to see a Jackal get trotted out on Clubhouse because on most sites, you don't really need his ability to scan and look for roamers. Instead, SSG is going to ban out Ying, and Ying used to be one of the most played operators for Rise Nation, particularly in the hands of Vandal. Well, Vandal hasn't really been playing Ying all that much. In fact, the only Ying play I think we saw on our map, in our first map, was from SSG, and that speaks to the fact that they don't need Ying in their strategy at all. Final two bans will be a Valkyrie. No surprise there. There are tons of areas outside of Clubhouse where one of those black eye cams can be hucked and can see from a greater distance than IQ can spot with her gadget. The last ban from Rise Nation is very unsurprisingly a Maestro. Once again, putting a lot of pressure on Redeemer on defense to excel in the role as Echo.
So what was your idea behind Valkyrie getting that buff? I liked it just because I play a lot of Valkyrie, I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like her old cams were really played out on placement where you really didn't even need that IQ. You could more or less walk and go, okay, there's probably going to be a cam here, and a cam here. You shoot those real quick. That's really it. I feel like her buff has helped her out a lot with creativity.
I mean, her buff has helped her be almost 100% ban rate over the last week or so. I think the bigger issue with it is just that I still think there's opportunities for you to use Valk cams in places that you don't expect. There's a great Valk cam location that Evil Genius has actually used a number of matches ago on Clubhouse, where you toss it between the speaker racks inside of the main floor of bar and stock, and it gives you a perfect view of any rotates that might go down the stairs from bar and all the way towards the bar hatch. That's something that you don't really see all that common. I mean, not a lot of teams run IQ with the frequency that they used to, so that's why Valkyrie right now is inhabiting that insta-ban role. Rise Nation is going to start on defense here, and they're going to opt to go downstairs to Church, Arsenal, and that's going to basically put the ball in Spacestation's court as to where they want to go. Now, I said you didn't really see a lot of Jackal play here on this map, but Rampy's going to bring the Jackal immediately, and I'm wondering if they think that could be due to Rise rotating endlessly as roamers and probably trying to establish control outside of basement. It's not that strange, I guess, for teams to maybe put one roamer upstairs in CCTV cache, gym, or master, and have them come down later. And if you don't have a flank watch, it can be your undoing. That might be what Spacestation has in mind here.
Now we are going to have Thinking Nade here on the Buck. As his name implies, he does have grenades. He also has that skeleton key to try and gain access upstairs. Right now, their main focus is going to be trying to clear out roamers upstairs, and that is what the Jackal is for on Rampy. I'm actually surprised that they did not put him back on his ever-prolific Glaz role, since Glaz is such a fantastic operator, especially when you're trying to get pretty aggressive. Bosco not opting for the IQ here either, which is kind of strange due to the fact that Pulse is so heavily played on this site. See if this is going to favor the defense a little bit here with these offensive op choices.
To be fair, the spot that Pulse plays in this map is called Pulse Spot.
Yeah.
You know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need an IQ to find him. You know where he's going to be unless you decide to use Beastly in a bit of a different method.
Are you talking about the operator or actual brain cells?
Because Hibana is unbanned, we're going to see some dual hard breach destruction from Spacestation. That's pretty commonplace on Clubhouse. You can allow Thermite with his exothermic charges to take a church wall and possibly dirt wall, and then Hibana will be able to grab the 3 hatches from above. It allows the attackers to really have any opportunity they want to be able to put pressure on the defense. Could have seen a strategic ban here onto the Hibana, but I think the Ying ban was smart from SSG's side of things because they would have essentially handicapped themselves for their first 5 rounds.
Absolutely. We are going to be on board with Redeemer as he was looking down the Moto hatch. Now, they really need to start setting up for this execute right here. If this goes on any longer, I do not see this going in their favor. England still has a lot of those toxic babes on deck. We still have Beastly alive with those nitro cells as well. And like we talked about last time, Ghost with those 8, I counted 8, of those goo mines that he will be able to disperse across the map. As you guys can see those all across his screen. We'll see if Nade is as good as his namesake says about throwing those, but no, none of those are going to make any contact. Only a little bit of damage done to Bosco and Hyper.
The Jackal track from Rampy is just going to put some pressure on where one of those defenders inside a church will sit. There's an opportunity for a bandit trick from Vandal. But toxic canisters going off to try and match the smoke grenades. Chala swiftly eliminates Vandal. Redeemer planting inside a site. He's going to have Rampy covering, but everybody from Rise, they're nowhere to be found. Rampy takes down Beastly. England is there to grab one. Hyper a double kill. Chala eliminates England. That's a 2v2 with Diffuser down.
To protect the diffuser.
Now they just need to wait. Oh no, Chala not running a sight on the bearing 9. He doesn't have an avenue to look down, and he's going to get picked apart by Ghost, and Thinking Nate is going to be all on his lonesome. He sees the Jaeger. That's a big misread by Hyper. Ghost drops. He knows where Thinking Nate is, and he's going to have to start defusing. Thinking Nate rushing in. There's a good drone on the way. Ghost will get off of the plant. We are almost all out of time. He peeks, and it doesn't matter. Ghost is going to have to battle the clock, but he might not have enough time. It takes 7 seconds. Ghost waiting. Hold your breath. But Space Station takes it down to the absolute wire by 1 second. Everybody waiting. Not enough time. A valiant effort from Ghost. You could hear the moans sweep through the theater. And SSG takes round number 1.
I've never heard so many people hold their breath at the exact same time. So very good job, guys. It's almost like we coordinated that. But, I mean, first round, that was definitely a sight to see. I mean, last second execution there by SSG. It almost seems like they were scared to try to get aggressive on the site. A lot of utility out the door, both frag grenades of Thinking Nade, not able to make any contact with anything, and it almost came back to Rise Nation. But they are going to be going to CCTV and Cash Room this time. Don't want to play the same site twice.
CCTV Cash and Church downstairs and Gym Master, all sort of interchangeable depending on the way that teams play this. A Maestro being banned will likely weaken the defensive hold on CCTV and Cash because so much of that defense tends to be having an ACOG, usually in Maestro's hands, lying prone on top of the metal stanchions up top, or the metal walkway, the catwalk, if you may. Usually accompanied by an Evil Eye, maybe a couple ADSs, maybe a Mute Jammer, and then you have to exert quite a bit of your hard destruction to dislodge the player that's on that catwalk. Now, it's still possible to play with another operator up there. I would imagine that if you don't have Ghost roaming, you might put him there, but you need somebody who can engage at long range. Because typically, the garage is the place for attackers to push from. We have seen a couple teams decide to go simply for CCTV pushes, or they can turn their focus towards construction and then try to go for cash. And the only big problem with attacking through construction, Sam, is that, well, you can get impact trick yet again onto the wall inside of cash.
Yeah, it was actually very nice that we were going to Clubhouse next when I made that assumption in the last map. But the one thing I do want to talk about right here is that Mav ban coming to fruition. This site and also the site on the other side of the map on the same level, Masters, typically where you're going to see a Mav played just to take over Jacuzzi wall, or in this instance, the server wall, to where you can burn those nice little kill holes in there. But since he is banned away, you will not be seeing that. Now, the one creative thing that they can do that you guys will see a lot of teams that are really coordinated do is they will use Shaw and Redeemer at the exact same time to get 2 walls at the exact same time, to where Bandit does not have a choice to Bandit trick those. It's always very, very useful, and you are almost guaranteed a wall every single time. That's exactly what this offense wants.
But Hyper's playing inside a garage, so there's going to be no active impact tricking there unless England decided to take impacts, which is very possible because they likely have a shotgun in the hands of Vandal's Mute, which allows them more destructive capabilities. Vandal, of course, holding onto the Nitro Cell with his SMG-11 as well. And yes, bringing the shotgun for Mute. So it's possible that Smoke might be the one sitting inside of sight here with those impact grenades. Hyper, right now, just trying to outduel SSG and prevent them from establishing a foothold inside of Garage. He's got the Jackal of Rampy waiting, and Hyper looks poised and ready, and Rampy, you gotta get past this. Oh, Hyper missing his shots by a hair. You just have to wait patiently, and it's gonna be Bosco coming over to the aid of his teammate as they might be able to double up. It's 2 goo mines thrown at the door that will give Space Station some pause if they opt to go after it. Great grenade gets tossed in, and it's gonna miss Beastly. He takes a bit of damage, puts the Bandit charge down, but he fails to get the exothermic charge. That's a big win for Space Station Gaming, Sam.
Yes, it will, as Redeemer is going to take out Hyper. No more goo mines as they are going to be able to take over Garage. Ghost still upstairs, though, and he does have ADSs that are still going to need some burn, but 50 seconds left on the clock as they are going to be able to drone out Ghost upstairs. Now, Ghost coming off of a very good map the last time around. Bosco not seeming to want to peek him, but oh my goodness, what an angle by Bosco right there. I mean, what else do you expect?
Absolute perfection, and he's going to have to wait just for a second and pull the goo out of his foot before he can bother to advance any farther. You've got two shotguns, both pointed at the narrow doorways in towards the site. It could spell disaster for Space Station if they don't know it's coming. Jackal Tracks will try to put some pressure on the defense as 15 seconds means it's go time for SSG. Amidst the smoke, Redeemer's gonna try to stick it. He's not taking any damage from it. Oh no, that's a miss, and they're gifted the diffuser going down. Vandal, middle of the site, tries to rotate. He's gonna get felled, leaving England in a 1v4 post-plant. He'll get nowhere. Bosco shreds through him. That's a great play from SSG, and your heart has to break. The toxic canister not eliminating Redeemer at all. That would have surely gotten him had it been a little bit more accurate, and now SSG finds themselves up 2-0, and doing so on attack on a map that is dramatically defender favored.
Yeah, I don't know those percentages off the top of my head. I know you will, you Pro League caster.
It's almost 60-40.
Oh my goodness gracious.
58 and then some to 41 and then some.
Well, I mean, if anything, that speaks volumes about what SSG is currently doing on this map. And once again, ladies and gents, Rise is the people that picked this map, and they're not doing well on the side that is favored. I mean, as of right now, it looks like SSG might be winning this Western Conference match.
If you look at the stats right now for the way that Space Station plays on Clubhouse, this is actually the map with the most wins over the last half
Defenders,
year.
protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
8-0-4. So obviously quite comfortable on this map, and it's showing quite a lot. Unfortunate for Rise as they find themselves trailing on a site that they should be able to put big numbers up on, similar to Villa, where usually you want to win your defenses. There are a couple maps that are kind of flexible, depending on what operators get banned, depending on the way the teams play. Those numbers can be a bit misleading, but Clubhouse, you can almost always rely on the defense to win. So back to CCTV Cash. Rise will go. One thing that Rise can be happy about with that previous round was their ability to hold off a push into Garage. It was unfortunate for Ghost that he got caught literally the last second. Right as he was trying to escape Garage. He knew his time was up. He knew he had to try to get back to help the rest of his team, and then Beastly just missing the exothermic charge on the Bandit trick as well. Those were two huge issues for Rise Nation. If even one of those changes, maybe Ghost doesn't get picked off, or Bandit trick works from Beastly. It's a round that for Rise is much more winnable. So, SSG turning towards this round. Once again, they're going to look over towards the Garage sort of thing.
And that really is where you want to start off with this offensive take. You want to open up the garage panels on the opposite side of where Ramby is currently standing. One of those ones are actually basically directly along where he is. Bosco actually has the top of them open right now. And the reason you want to open that is you can cut off rotations from the staircase. That's usually what they're worried about when it goes to that retake time for the defense. So that doesn't stop them from trying to use that staircase to gain easy access to upstairs. Now you are going to be hearing that thermite charge go off as they are going to open up the server wall. That is going to be another key factor right there, as Hyper has taken quite a bit of damage. He's also getting Jackal tracked. Redeemer has his sights set on him, and he is going to see him go down. Bosco is going to end up cleaning that one up as this garage control is slowly starting to teeter away.
This is why you need an ACOG playing inside a garage to be able to contend with the fact that the attackers are going to be bringing them on most of their weapons. You have to be able to strike back. And right now for Rise, yeah, you've still got the goo mines from Hyper that will likely persist until they get taken out, but 90 seconds, you have forfeited control of most of the garage. It's going to leave just Ghost in a position where he might be waiting to die and just trying to kill as much time as possible. The good news is that he's got some pings below to locate Thinking Nade, and oh, Ghost drops and shreds, but he's not going to grab the second. Bosco is there. That's a beautiful play from Ghost. Very risky and a worthwhile trade to take out the buck.
Yeah, definitely going to make SSG think twice about taking this site, as we are just going to break the minute mark here. We do still have England up on the smoke. 3 of those toxic babes in his possession. as garage control has been completely gifted to SSG at this point, but they are going to have to try and use as much utility to try and break the back of the defense right here. Otherwise, this could go horribly wrong. We do still have a Nitro Cell possibly on Beastly. We don't exactly know his full kit, but I definitely can tell you we do have Vandal up with those Yokais.
So you've got 2 Yokais left, one of which is downstairs inside of Lounge that can be called back at any point. It sees the Zofia, and they're starting to mark away. Got a toxic canisters that will rain down to try and stop the site. Rampy eliminates England. Vandal will miss, but great toss from Beastly. Shuts Chala down, and Vandal closes that gap. 2-2. Redeemer still going for the plant, but there's that pesky Yokai drone there giving information. Rampy sees it, but can't take it out. Waiting for the push, running out of time. Vandal's gonna have to take matters into his own hands. Same with Beastly. Beastly cannot go for the save, rotate. He'll take out Rampy though, and it's a big clutch from Rise in the final seconds to take the round. That's a great pushback from Rise Nation in order to finally win a defense. It's gonna come on CCTV. 3 sites still open for round number 4 up next.
And this might be the time to set pace on the defense and really take the rest of their defensive rounds here. They still are able to come out and on top in this situation, could come out of this 3-2 and in the lead, and that is exactly what you want on this map. As you said, 60-40 is a percentile of defensive wins, and you really, really want that on your side.
Looks like we're going to be heading back downstairs to Church and Arsenal room, which isn't as definitive as this first CCTV victory for SSG. Rise Nation running a Vigil. You can keep Vigil on site. Vigil on site actually can be quite strong depending on the way you use it, because you don't really know where he is, especially when he could be playing in between those sites. Now his gadget's range is enough that you could think he's in one room and he ends up being in the next. Clubhouse, especially on this site in particular, allows Vigil to continuously essentially do laps and get as much of a step count as he can for the day in, heading from A site to B site, and he'll have blue available to him, not the caster, the actual part of the map. Right now where Hyper is situated, to be able to rotate if need be. This could actually catch SSG off guard. It's so uncommon that you'll have somebody aggressively roam. Like I said, you might have somebody playing upstairs waiting for a late flank.
5 seconds left.
But having 1 or 2 people actually actively roam, try to hunt you down and stop you, it's caught many teams, some of the best teams in the world, off guard. What could possibly happen here?
Yeah, I'm sure that Vigil's smartwatch is very happy with him with how many steps he has been taking. Hyper just absolutely everywhere on every single map. But one thing I always like to point out is the fact that Pulse and Vigil are actually kind of comparable. You want to know why?
Why?
Oh, you kind of want to know why. Okay, I'll tell you.
Tell me.
So, they both work through multiple floors.
That is true.
Yes, it is. And the beauty of, as you said, the site Vigil is that they can legitimately think you are anywhere around there. This thing actually works through all 3 floors of Consulate. Granted, he does have the range where you know, okay, he's obviously not here. It's very small, but you know, he's still such a fantastic operator on this roam. Oh my goodness.
On a roam is Ghost, and I think, oh my goodness, is right. Bosco goes down, but Thinking Nate has his teammates back, taking out Hyper. So you've lost your Zofia, but in the meantime, you've taken down a Mute and a Vigil. It's taken a minute, and this is a big part of why a lot of teams don't opt to roam on Clubhouse, is because the time management of roaming, it really doesn't help all that much, because you've still got your Buck, you've still got Rampy with this sidearm shotgun that can help make holes if you don't have a Buck available. Possibly taking down Thinking Nate would have been better than the Zofia. I think that's a major win for SSG here. But as I was saying, you didn't really accomplish all that much roaming. All you did was take down 1 person on SSG's side of things, but SSG is able to just rebound so fast and already begin to do the work they need to do to get in towards the site. Thinking Nate sees the head of Vandal. He can't connect all the way down in blue. He's just going to be seated and waiting at the top of the stairs to see if somebody is going to appear.
Now, I know Bosco is a fantastic player, but I don't think that he's worth 2 people at all. I mean, and both very prolific operators going down. Hyper as well as Ghost, Vandal, excuse me, Vigil and Mute both going down, but they do still have a lot of denial in the hands of these defensive operators. England on that smoke, Beastly on that Pulse with that Nitro Cell, and what I love to say, the aggressive Bandit with that Nitro Cell as well. It's going to be possibly a tall task for the offense here, but they seem to be making it real easy without smoke bombs going down inside here. You guys can hear the diffuser start going down by Redeemer. He is going to stick it. Will it go down? Redeemer is actually going to live through that, and actually he's going to end up dropping the bomb as he does go down to England's Toxic Babe. 2v2 situation now as we are just breaking the 30-second mark. Vandal has the vertical control, but Rampy's going to find him on that one. It's going to be left up to Beastly as he is going to have to find two here or stop that plant. As he creeps along, Rampy's not going to see him immediately, but he is going to be able to keep his life as Beastly is going to try and stop the defuse, but that is going to come to no avail here. Beastly has to try and get aggressive, but no. Rampy going to find him once again. Space Station just so prolific on this attack.
Huge round from Rampy. Basically reading into it that the Pulse, who was playing, as you said, inside of Church, they had the aggressive Bandit, but he was playing in blue. A bit of an odd position for the Bandit to be a little farther back. The information that Space Station got allowed them to just walk right into the Arsenal side of things and head back towards the boxes. And Rampy, all he needed to do was try and protect the plant. And yeah, England was able to get the kill, but Rampy refrags and then watches it yet again. That was a monstrous round from him. He needs a lot of credit for the way they played that. But really, more than anything, as much as you want to give credit to SSG, there's some major marks that need to be deducted off of Rise Nation and what I think was a very ineffective roam. It was a good gamble because you can absolutely overwhelm an attacking team if they don't think, and they have that hubris that, oh, there's nobody roaming, we can do whatever we want. That confidence, you can get knocked down a peg or two if you don't anticipate that there's going to be a roamer. I think Rise Nation was trying to do that, but as you said, Bosco basically got traded off for 2. That wasn't a worthwhile trade for Rise Nation, and at that point, as I said, SSG just immediately pivoted, headed towards the site, and began their execute as if nothing else had changed. So final round here of defense for Rise Nation. Space Station looking to try and take 4 of those rounds away from Rise Nation on their defense.
Now this is going to be the first time that we are playing the Master Bedroom / Weights today, on Clubhouse at least.
5 seconds remaining.
And there's only 2 ways that you can handle this site. You can either play construction very heavily, or what a lot of teams like to do, they like to rotate all the way over to cash and hold that for as long as possible. That is their bread and butter for time wasting. And that's what they're going to try and do here. We'll see if that works out for them. But as we were talking about before, with that Thermite and Habana, you're able to really do whatever you want because Bandit obviously cannot put 2 batteries down at the same time. He's not ambidextrous. He needs both hands. So, really, their main focus right here is going to be that Jacuzzi wall and trying to get that open and really get immediately aggressive on the site.
A great drone there from Rampy as it gets tossed up on top of the ventilation tubing inside a garage so that you can see anybody possibly trying to flank in through the garage, and also being shown to us the double Mira strategy inside of Bathroom. Now, when you're attacking Gym Master, you have 2 major ways to attack that most teams will use. Number 1, you go through construction and head towards the Master side and likely have somebody focus on the Jacuzzi wall, usually your Thermite, or you can try to drop in through Office, command control through construction, and then force the rest of the team into Bathroom and the Gym side of things. The 2 mirror windows inside of Bathroom will mean that there's going to be an opportunity for the defenders to have that information well ahead of time. But I think the 2 mirror windows is a mistake. I could be wrong. Depends on the way this round plays out. But for the time being, I think it could have been used elsewhere. SSG's biggest focus right now is on cash. It's where Ghost and Hyper are playing. This is going to be an absolute brawl. Oh, Hyper starts things off by shredding through Thinking Nade. Rampy didn't peek at the same time. He's going to come to the assistance of his now fallen teammate. This is a great round from Rise Nation in terms of managing the time and keeping SSG at bay.
Fantastic, as you were just saying. Rampy, though, going to find Hyper finally. Is he going to be able to find another one? Yes, Ghost's going to go down in the process, but that was very well played by them. Once again, guys, their job is time wasting, and they did their job perfectly. Granted, you know, they died in the process, but that is 2 minutes off the board, and that is one thing that is invaluable to absolutely everyone, is time. So 53 seconds left on the clock. A lot of utility wasted on getting rid of Hyper and Ghost.
You see that Bosco is dry on utility. You saw some impact tricking also happening from the Legion of Ghost. That was huge as well. So not only did they waste time, they did manage to take out Thinking Nade, the sledgehammer that could have been so helpful against the remaining castle barricades of Beastly. It was a big win for Rise Nation here. If Space Station can pull this out with 30 seconds to go, it will be an absolutely extraordinary round. Bosco sees the mirror, or at least has his teammate inform them of Vandal's position. He'll just creep around the corner and wait to see if the Mira will push. Jackal Mark's coming out, Chala taking down Vandal. Spacestation recovering gracefully from this time management that was so much in favor of Rise Nation, with Bosco eliminating Beastly. It's gonna be all up to England. Amidst the smoke, he tossed out a C4, but he's gonna get pushed! Spacestation takes the first half, 4-1. An incredible round, and what a recovery after all that utility, all that time, bled out by Rise Nation. They have nothing to show for it on that round. We'll head to Rise Nation on attack and SSG on defense.
Now, as we were saying before, and how I always love to talk about, tall tasks for teams, tall tasks. Right now, Rise Nation is going to have probably one of the hardest things to do today, which is bring this all the way back on offense, especially after SSG just had that run. Parker, I actually haven't had a conversation with you about this just yet, but might as well do it on the broadcast. It's always a fun thing to talk about. What do you think of when teams really get set in a rhythm and they really have that really on their side for,
Momentum?
Momentum, yes. I couldn't think of the word, thank you.
No, that's okay. I think it's interesting because when you look at Rainbow6, it's not a game that is defined by momentum. There are a lot of other esports out there where momentum is based on numbers. Whether you have set amounts of money, whether you have kills, etc., whether you have levels that you have to go through. And Rainbow6 momentum is almost entirely mental. And that mental fortitude, that stamina, really separates the best teams from the teams beneath them. You see it, best team in the world is not competing at this event, it's G2. One of the best teams in the world is EG. And I think a lot of people look at EG and say that a lot of their problems might be emotional, it might be mental. They've been broken by a string of defeats that they probably should have won. And I mean, I don't think you need to look that much farther than them to see that attitude makes a huge difference. Now, I don't believe there's been a tactical timeout that's been called on behalf of Rise Nation, as we haven't had a long break between rounds and haven't been notified of that, and I think that's a mistake. Rise Nation had an opportunity to take one on Bank. I don't believe they did. This would have been a perfect time to do it between rounds. Try to find your mojo and get in that groove, knowing that you now have an opportunity to go on to attack. The problem is that there might only be 2 rounds left here if Spacestation continues firing on all cylinders. But in terms of that mental game, I think right now, I think it's going to be tough for Rise Nation to be able to find that and come back from it.
And truthfully here, you really want these entry fraggers to try and get those initial picks. That'll really set the tone for the rest of the round if they are able to come through with that. But as you said, SSG really firing on all cylinders right now. It kind of seems like Rise are just thinking about it maybe a little bit too much. They need to focus more on the fun factor in this instance, because right now it just seems like the strats are not working out for them. Might just want to focus more on fluidity and trying to get that information to their teammates.
Drone's ready.
Those entry fraggers, I think you make a very good point here, but bigger issue is 2 drones are thrown at Chala's way, and not great drone economies. They both decide to drone together. There was a deployable shield there, so both just trying to see if somebody's going to be playing behind it. Of course, that's Chala.
Yes, indeed. Chala, with those Grismont mines, going to be playing blue stairs, and he's going to be able to lock down this entire staircase. I'm actually surprised they didn't have everybody rotate over to windows, such as Vandal with a grenade, but it is going to be a little too late. Now, one thing you were talking about earlier was those tactical pauses, especially the last map with SSG taking it so late. I honestly feel like we might see one after this, but I really do hope it's not too little too late for Rise Nation, especially after that last game being so close.
Well, tactical timeout happened from the moment that SSG were on match point, and they won every single round after the tactical timeout. So that just goes to show you how it can help, able to get teams back on even footing. Great impact tricking shown there from Rampy, pretty routine, nothing really extraordinary about that, but it will at least eliminate the XKaros and take some utility away from Rise. That'll make Ghost have to move over and now go after the stock hatch. He's only going to be able to get 2 of those. You see from Rise, they also bring the secondary Heart Breacher of England on Thermite. Makes sense with how well Ghost is fragging to put him on Hibana, because there's lots of fragging potential. Hyper's push down blue stairs will be halted ever so slightly, but oh, they'll double team Bosco and toss a grenade down and say goodbye to the Jaeger inside of blue. It's a big advantage for Rise Nation, as they now have a free entry down over towards the church side by Blue Wall.
Hyper going to be standing in Barb currently he is going to breach open the wall of blue, but SSG appears ready for it. All eyes on the blue doors right now as thinking he's going to try and rotate, but Hyper will end up taking his life away from him. Rampy going to find one of his own, and Shala going to follow that one up as well. Rampy being very aggressive in the main hallway. He is not going to end up down anyone, but England going to stick the defuse, and actually, what just happened right there? It was the Echo Drone. The Echo Drone.
Last second, making no noise. Redeemer ends up saving the round of the Echo Drone, scooting across the floor, doing its best Roomba impression. Hits the ceiling and blasts him out of it with there being no sound, and Redeemer not even a thought from Rise Nation to try and figure out where Redeemer is.
Honestly, I think my parents have the wrong model. Ours doesn't fly. It might need a different Roomba. But I couldn't even hear that shot from the Yokai. I was so confused there for a second.
I didn't hear it as well. That's a telltale sign. And we were even riding along with the Legion of Rampy, who was right next to where the plant was going down. And it looked like Rise Nation was going to be able to walk away with not just a successful plant, but the round as well.
I was really getting ready to be like, England, you know you can't take your finger off the F key, right? That's not a toggle. You got to hold it. So, I mean, but if anything, this speaks volumes right now. SSG up 5-1 on Clubhouse, and Rampy absolutely murdering out right now. 10, 2, and 1 assist. And you know what that means? That means he's finishing all of those kills.
And there have been at least 2 rounds where his contributions have not just been on the scoreboard, but almost single-handedly winning the round. And that's been massive for his team. I know that we like to focus on kill death because in any first-person shooter game, it's usually the statistic that people find most impressive. It's difficult because a lot of contributions that come from players, especially support players in Rainbow Six, are never seen on the scoreboard. In fact, things such as accurate droning, clean callouts, smart utility usage, that sort of stuff, we don't even get to see a lot of times just by nature of the way this game plays out. Rampy's 10 kills have been extraordinarily impactful, being able to keep his team in this fight. And now, because of his play and the rest of his team, Spacestation sit on match point and series point as well.
Yeah, and the one thing is, you know, obviously I come from the community, I am new here, and the one thing that everyone, I feel, does not understand is a good fragger is only as good as the information that he gets, and that's where the support role comes in. There is so many fantastic support players in Pro League now. Initially, it was a lot of just, you know, trying to throw things to the wind. Speaking of throwing things to the wind, Hyper's going to throw his life as Bosco, that MP7, is going to rip his head off for him. And things are starting to heat up as they are going to start gaining control of construction, these rises.
There's a Yokai drone position inside a construction that's going to hit England and then immediately drop to the floor, and that was part of the information that was being given over to Bosco to allow him to be able to get the successful kill. Now, if he does opt to bandit trick the construction wall, Bosco will have the Yokai drone there able to tell him where the exothermic charge is going to be placed with greater accuracy. But as you can see, Bosco's repositioned over towards the CCTV wall, and essentially construction has been given over. This ACOG that we mentioned inside a garage, it's going to be Redeemer playing there, but I think they realize that Rise is going to be coming through construction, and oh, a great impact trick from Thinking Nade. That's a denial for England, and Rise frustrated. That's a lot of utility lost.
Yes, it is only for one little ball of death. Those things are incredible, let me tell you. But you know what else is incredible? Thinking Nade tries for it again, does not make any contact, and they're going to get that wall clean open right there. As you can see, Thinking Nade's sight currently gone just for a couple seconds due to that EMP of Beastly. Again, we have caliber-based destruction just like we talked about earlier. Those bullet holes over here inside of the wall. 53 seconds left on the clock. Now, this is where things can get very hellish. Speaking of hellish things, England doesn't even need to see him. Doesn't even need to see him.
He gets the kill and raises his eyebrows like, oh my. In absolute disbelief, Sam.
Incredible, incredible. What would you expect anything less from England himself? Things really are going to need to heat up for the offense right here. It seems like they're stalling out quite a bit. Really need to focus on trying to get this utility burnt up by the defense. Thinking Nade literally sitting inside of his own smoke. Since he does have that gas mask on, it's not going to have any effect towards him. Lots of angle holding coming in from Rise now. But the flashbangs are going to come through, as I'm going to expect the aggressive play. Redeemer going to find one. Ghost going to find one of his own as well. Shala with a crazy shot on the Ghost. Oh my goodness! Shala onto England.
doing absolute work right now. And this might be it, ladies and gentlemen. It's only one man alive in Spacestation Gaming for the last match of the day. Oh my goodness.
And they will take it, and they will meet Rogue. Beautiful fashion in tomorrow's matchup. Excellent job here. Spacestation making that second map look easy after the slugfest that was Bank. And who'd have thought that the most competitive match of the day would be Orgless versus Evil Geniuses. 3 straight 2-0s after that. And Rise Nation, Ghost, the newest member of the team, showing up, but the rest of the team couldn't match it. And an unfortunate result for them and their fans, but Spacestation will move on, and we'll see them tomorrow.
Yeah, apparently the hype behind Bosco, that hype train, it has no brakes. They cut him. I can tell you what, that man doing absolute work all over the place on both maps. But, I mean, really the big thing here, the big exclamation point, the X factor, Clubhouse 6-1. You never see that ever.